Hey, what's up? This is Sensei from Ride Fit Nation. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're talking about learning how to ride your motorcycle. I know you see a lot of people riding motorcycles. You have people riding street bikes, off-road bikes. They're riding on the road and off the road, adventure bikes. People are riding Hondas, Harley Davidson, Suzuki's, Kawasaki's, Yamahas, Indians, Triumphs, Victories. The list goes on and on and on and on and on, and I love every single one of them. I have no favorite. I'm not a Harley Davidson guy. I just happen to own a Harley Davidson. This is a Softail Deluxe. It's a '05. I built it myself from scratch. It used to be a crash bike, and I bought it, crashed, and built it up. I have a other bike, which is a 2022 Road Glide, and that motorcycle is phenomenal. That is beast, and that's my long haul bike. Okay, so whether you're looking to learn how to ride touring bikes, sport bikes, adventure bikes, all of the basic principles applies the same, and it's understanding all the basics of your bike, knowing how to stop, knowing how to make the bike move, knowing how to turn, knowing how to maneuver, knowing how to counterbalance, counter steer, all these different things. And we're going to cover some of those in the videos today. If you're here as a new rider or a person that want to learn how to ride, welcome to the channel. This is not what it's about. This channel is a lifestyle channel. If you're a seasoned rider and you're here to critique or add your 2 cents to it, welcome to the channel. Leave those comments because a lot of people like to go to the comment section and they will read everything in the comment section, but keep it positive. I'm going to also have my son, Dorian, who's on the camera today, and we're going to have him ride the bike. He rode this bike a few times already, but we're working only on one thing first, and you're going to learn what that thing is. All right, so stay tuned. I'll see you guys in a few. All right, so I'm on the bike. The first thing I want to talk about is, first of all, the bike, when the bike is parked, there's a kickstand. You're not going to see that right now. The bike is tilted, but I'm going to lift by using the left leg and push off to balance it. My legs are supporting the bike. When you sit on the bike will go nowhere as long as you're using your legs to support the bike. You don't have to worry about nothing. The bike is now turned on. There's nothing that can happen to you unless you decide to let your legs fall off of your body and the bike falls and collapse. That's not going to happen, right? Now, we have some levers right here. The most important thing I want you to practice for right now is knowing where your brakes are. Everything that stops the bike is on the right side. And from where the camera is framed up, this is your front brake. The front brake, you utilize the front brake in a lot of times when you're riding at higher speeds and you're using the front brake to really stop at a faster pace. The rear brake is utilized to control the bike. When you go into the faster pace, you apply a certain amount of pressure to the front brake and the rear brake together, which will give you more stability and more traction control on the bike. So the front brake is going to be on your right side, and this is pretty much every motorcycle. I haven't seen one, depending on the part of the world you are. I believe in Europe it's probably opposite, like the driver's side, but I'm not sure. I'm only speaking for the United States of America, okay? So this is my front brake right here. When I'm going at high speeds, if you hit the front brake too sharp, the front of the bike, the forks is going to just collapse, and it can send you tumbling off the bike. It can send the bike to flip. So that's why you have to learn how to control the rear and the front together, utilizing a certain amount of percentage. Everybody has a different amount of numbers they use. I'm not going to give you those numbers, all right? So that's the first thing. Now we're gonna get the camera to show you where the rear brake is located, and then we'll go to the next piece. Okay, so now this is your rear brake, and this stops everything behind you, okay? When I say behind you, it hits the rear tire, not the front tire. When you're riding, let's say my foot is up and I'm riding my bike, and you want to hit that rear brake, it can require a little bit of flexion depending on how your brake is set up. My brake is set up pretty high, so I have to lift it up and then lift my heels and then press down, okay? When I'm done, I release and come back down to position. You want to always be able to cover your brake. If I'm here, it's going to take a lot of time for me to stop in an emergency, so that means that, look, this is stopping my foot. So I like to ride here or out here where I have freedom. If something happens, I can lift up really quick and press that rear brake. The rear brake is where you control your bike. When you're riding nice and slow, you want to use most of your rear brake, leaving your hands free to allow yourself to utilize the clutch and the throttle. So speaking of clutch and throttle, then we'll talk about the clutch next, and then we'll talk about the throttle. All right, so now that we have the front brake and the rear brake, you know what stops the bike and why you have to use the front, why you have to use the rear. I have a lot of professionals who follow me, so they will leave some comments. They will leave it in the comment section of some of the things that I forgot, and you will learn from that, okay? Now, we talk about the left side. The left side allows us to utilize what we call our clutch control or our clutch lever. The clutch is where all of your gears are controlled by. The clutch allows the plates to release and compress, release and compress. When I hit the clutch like this, when I start the motorcycle and I hit the clutch, if I start the bike in neutral, the bike will not go anywhere. The bike will stay steady. The bike will roll. If I try to push my bike now, it's going to stay stuck. I can't really, it will rock back and forth, but it won't move. It's not in neutral. If I start the bike right now, some bikes have systems where it won't start, but some bikes, if you start it and it's in neutral, you're good. But some bikes, if you start it and it's in first, the bike will actually jump away from you. Some motorcycles, it won't start at all. But the thing to practice is how to start your bike in first gear. Don't start it in neutral. Just start it in first gear. I want you to practice that. Now, when I compress the clutch, when I hold the clutch down and I start the bike, this in turn will put the bike also in neutral, meaning the bike will rock back and forth. It won't move away from you. Then we're going to practice how to control the clutch in first gear. The more I start to open up the clutch, the more I start to release, then the bike is going to start to roll. When the bike begins to roll, you're going to focus only on that. When you let the clutch go completely, the bike is going to start to stutter. It's going to do this. It's going to start to kind of shake a bit. And that's when the bike is telling you that you need to do two things. One, you need to hold the clutch back in a little bit more. Or two, you need to get ready to give it a little bit of gas. And a little bit of gas meaning don't go boom and the bike is going to take off and most people crash in the trees. We don't want that, okay? So we're going to practice just the clutch control. That's what Dorian is learning now. And then we're going to talk about the gear changes. But before we let the bike start and before we let the bike move, let's get down to where the gears are. Okay, let's talk about the kickstand before we jump to the clutch, to the gears. The kickstand, before you start your bike, before you do anything, lift the bike off the kickstand. Get that kickstand up, okay? Because a lot of times people tend to ride off without their kickstand being up, and that can be bad. Now, this and this is the same. It controls from here. This is just a heel toe. It's a heel shifter, toe shifter. The way I have mine set up, this keeps my shoes. If I have on brand new shoes, I use my heels to change the gears going up. And when I want to downshift, I use here to downshift. When I want to change gears, you always want to press the clutch. You want to pull that clutch in like I showed you earlier, okay? And then if I want to go to first, I'm going to click down. When I want to go up to second, I'm going to click with the heel, up, 1, up, 2, up, 3. If you do not have a heel toe shifter and you only have a toe shifter, then your foot, mine is not designed to go under, but normally you put your foot under it and you'll be able to change the gears like that, okay? So this is how you get the gears. This bike has 5 gears. Some bikes have 6 gears. When you want to go back down, you press the clutch again and you go back down. You always want to press the clutch before you change gear. If you don't do that, you will burn out your clutch really, really fast. So now we're going to go over some of the basic movements of what we spoke about. We got the basic principles down. Now let's move on to the next piece. So now that we understand the idea of those parts of your bike for you to move, the right side of the bike right here, this is your throttle control. That's your gas. You drive a vehicle, when you press the gas, that's what this is. The more you roll it, the faster the bike goes. The softer you roll it, the slower the bike will go. If I'm in first gear and I let my hands completely at the clutch nice and slow, the bike is going to roll nice and slow. If I let my hand up the clutch and I pop it and I do this, the bike is going to take off too fast for you to control if you're a beginner. If you're advanced enough, then you'll be just fine because you understand what it feels like to take off on the bike. Another thing too, as you can see, my handlebars. So my handlebars, these are 20-inch high handlebar. It's very comfortable for me as a rider. It gives me a nice stretch, a nice lift. I'm not up here. I'm not down here. I'm 6'2". It gives me some more room to ride this bike because I have long legs. Okay? So when it comes to riding this bike, the most important things for you to learn is what we just went over. Now we're going to go over starting the bike. So now we're going to talk about starting the bike. And starting the bike on every bike is a little different, okay? This bike is a knob we turn. When it turns, it's going to indicate and it's going to show me if I'm in first gear or not. Because there's a green light that will come on that will say neutral. Okay. When I want to go back into neutral, I'm going to just tap it up a little bit and I have to find neutral. Harley Davidsons are very hard to find neutral. Sometimes you're fighting sometimes. But I'm in neutral now. There's a switch right here. It's called a run switch. And when I turn that switch on, it's going to turn on the fuel pump. And then there's another switch here, which is the start switch. The start switch starts the bike up. So now the bike is started. I'm going to have to talk much louder now. And I'm going to have to probably overdub it. But here it is. When I want to go into gear, I'm going to press the clutch down. And then I'm going to hit that first gear. So now we're going to do a freehand on the camera so you can get an idea on what all this stuff looks like. All right? Let's go. All right, so now that we went over all these basic principles of where the bike is supposed to be at, where the stopping is at, where the clutch is at, where's your front brake, your rear brake, all these things, your mirror is also very important. You check your mirror, you check your rear view mirror the same way you would check your rear view mirror in a car. Motorcycles are a little different, so you have to really do a whole lot of micro adjustments until you get it exactly where you want to get it. Now, on the clutch itself, remember, I'm going to pull the clutch in, and we're going to use that to change the gear. All right? Now, to start the bike, on this bike, on this specific Harley Davidson, every bike is a little different. My start switch is right here. There's a lock that I lock it. That way nobody can turn it or on or off. But if I don't leave it locked, I just turn it on. And you can see right here, I'm in neutral. Because this green sign on every motorcycle, it will always light up green. It will show you that it's neutral. All right? So now when I want to start the bike, I'm going to hit this switch right here. This is going to be the fuel pump. Hit that switch. Then I'm going to hit the start button. The start button will start it up. It's going to get a little loud, so I might have to yell a little bit louder, but it's okay. So look, when I hit the start button, the bike starts right up. When you want to turn it back off, just hit the first switch that you hit. That's the off button. Now, we're going to go over to the gears now. So now I'm going to start the bike up. We're going to go to first gear, okay? What I'm going to do first is I'm going to hit this clutch. You're going to pull the clutch back. You're going to go down to first gear. Put your foot back down to the ground. And here's what I want you to practice. We're going to practice this. We're going to gently play with the clutch. You're going to see the bike want to rock forward. It's going on its own. Find that spot, okay? And we're going to pigeon walk it. We're going to pigeon walk it. Right now, the bike is pulling itself. When I press it down, it's back into neutral. Look straight ahead of you, pigeon walk it. Go back to neutral. Do it only a few times. Here, back to neutral. Once again, back to neutral. Find that point where it wants to move. Just trust it. If you feel nervous, press the clutch back down again. Now watch. Now I'm going to let it roll. I'm going to put my right foot up, look straight ahead, and I'm only using the clutch. I'm not using anything except the clutch. I don't have the clutch completely released. Right now, I got to press completely. When you want to stop, use your front brake or your back brake. You're going pretty slow, get used to using your back brake. Once again, I'm not using the throttle. I don't want to use the throttle right now. I'm using just that. Look, it goes back. Capture the wheel a little bit, Dorian, so they can see as it moves. So look, right now I'm releasing the clutch. Get that wheel, look. The clutch is doing that, not me. I'm letting the clutch go, and here we go again. I'm looking straight ahead, just like riding a bicycle. Once the bike has some power to that rear wheel, the bike is going to balance itself. You don't have to do a lot of balancing. Just look straight ahead of you. Now I'm going to release my clutch. The bike is now picking up speed on its own. It's doing a little jumping. So I have to find that spot. And then I'm stopping here, right? The bike wants to find gas. So if you release the clutch the whole time, the bike is going to start to stutter. It's going to start to stutter. It's going to feel weird. So now we're going to talk about the little bit of throttle. And here's what I want when you practice this for a couple of days. Don't worry about nothing else. Just practice that. Get used to that. Now I'm going to go make a U-turn. I'm going to come back around. I want you to see how I use my rear brake when I'm going to stop, okay? So I'm going to start it back up. Tell me what I need to do to start up. In the comment section, Tell me what I need to do to start the bike. Do it with me. Ready? What's the first thing I need to do? Do I need to turn this or what? Nope. If you said to turn the knob, the ignition switch, yes. The second thing I need to do, get that fuel pump turned on. Third thing I need to do, make sure I'm in gear. Okay, I'm gonna put it in first gear. Hold the clutch down. Then I'm gonna start. I'm in first gear. Same thing. I'm not worried about any throttle. That's the throttle. I'm not doing that. I'm just letting the bike roll. Okay? I'm gonna go this way, come around so you can see the foot brake. So here we go. I'm gonna put my right foot up, left foot is up. I don't have the clutch completely let go. Turn your head. When you're turning, look at where you want to go. I'm looking at you. Now, when I want to use my rear brake, I'm going to press the clutch down. And here we go. I use my rear brake. When I use the rear brake, I'm going to show you from the front angle. I'm going to come towards you. All right? Here we go. I turn my head where I want to go. I'm only using the clutch in first gear. I'm going to repeat that a lot. I'm not using any throttle. I turn my head, I'm looking at you. Now look what happens with my right foot, or my left foot coming to you. I'm gonna press the brake, the rear brake, and I'm gonna plant my left foot down to the ground. You understand that? So when you come into that stop, look straight ahead. Don't let the bike stop this way. The bike can fall. Look straight ahead. I'm gonna do it again. I'm releasing the clutch. Take these notes down. Take these notes. When I'm turning, I'm looking at where I want to go. I'm controlling it. I'm turning, I'm looking. I can start to use my brakes to slow down if it gets too fast. Right? The brakes is going to slow you down. Look at my left foot. I'm pressing the brake. Left foot plants down. Nice, easy stop. That's all I want you to practice in phase 1. All right? This is all phase 1. Now we're going to go to phase number 2. All right, so now I'm smiling. So now you got the idea of how to move your bike. It's not difficult. If you make it hard, it will be hard. But if you have fun doing it, you're going to be just fine. So remember what I said about the gas of the car? This is the throttle. Now when we start to talk about the throttle, I can turn the bike on, which I will, and I'm going to hold the clutch in a certain position. I'm going to press it all the way back, and I'm going to roll the throttle, and the bike is not going to go anywhere. Here we go. I'm going to start it up real quick. Now, I'm holding the clutch down, right? The clutch is down. I'm in first gear. Look, I'm in first gear, okay? It doesn't go anywhere. But what happens with a lot of beginners is you let the clutch out and you take off really fast for no reason. And we don't want to do that. I want you to be gentle in your clutch. Find that little compression zone. You're going to feel where it starts to want to move. So we're going to do it together. We're going to, it's like clutch, throttle, right? Let go. Easy, soft, gentle. Watch this. Watch what I mean. I'm going to roll the throttle a little bit. I want to hear a little bit. You hear the difference? You hear that difference? Now I'm looking straight ahead, and I'm going to let the clutch go. Slowly. Now I'm going much faster. Okay? When I want to slow down, I just press the clutch down. I'm not going fast. Now I'm going to go again. I'm going to hit the throttle, roll the throttle a little bit. Now I'm moving. When I want to stop, hit that rear brake a little bit, slow it down. Go again. I turn. I look where I want to go. I'm easing off the clutch a little bit. I'm pressing the clutch all the way back down. And in between, I'm finding that sweet spot like we practiced. A little bit more gas. When you feel the bike jumping, just get to that point to where the bike don't want to jump anymore. If you feel nervous in your turn, just remember where your brakes are and remember to press that clutch down. If I want to pick up speed, my hands are off the clutch completely. I release the gas, the bike slows down also. There's a lot of things to slow the bike down. If I let my hands off the throttle, the bike is gonna naturally slow down. Okay? Now here's the deal. Off the clutch, I take off, I'm going. I'm using my rear brake to slow down. I'm turning. My head is looking, I'm turning. Coming back to you, I'm pressing my clutch down. I'm in first gear. And now I'm going to hit my brake. I'm not going to run over the camera guy. See it? I hit the brake. turn the bike off. Remember, there's a lot of things that's going to help you to slow down. The bike is designed for you to be in control at all times. This is why the motorcycle is all manual. It's like the camera. A lot of people shoot their cameras in automatic, and that's cheating. It's like boring. But when you shoot it in manual, you're in control at all times. So just practice the throttle. Open spaces. Don't go on a road yet. Practice the takeoff. Practice the slowing down. Practice the turns. Practice the head turns. Practice all of those little things. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little bit of zigzag. The zigzag is where the handlebar comes in. When you're going at high speed, your handlebar will never, ever do that, ever. Your handlebar would only go where your body goes. Your body is going to do that to the bike, okay? That's when you're going at higher speeds. But we're going to go slower speeds, and I'll show you just a little bit of zigzags. Now I'm throttling, but I'm still not going fast. So I'm still looking at you, right? Practice this. Just here, practice moving the bike. This is where you're practicing your clutch, and I'm using my rear brake. When I feel like it's going too slow, then I'm going to use my gas. As long as there's power going to it, to that back brake, the bike won't fall. If the bike is going to fall, if you feel like it's going to fall, pick up a little bit more gas, a little bit more clutch control, a little bit more gas. Okay? Same thing going to the right. I'm going to the right. I'm letting my head look where I want to go. I'm keeping the clutch. My foot is on that back brake. I'm using the back brake to slow me down. Okay? When I want to stop, press that clutch down. You're good. Turn off your bike. Kickstands down. And we're going to let that bike just go where it needs to go. Turn your handlebar in. Hold on to this part of the bike. Okay? Press that front brake. Pull yourself up. That way you never have to trip. A lot of people I see coming off their bikes and they trip like drunken monkeys. All right? So we're going to get Dorian to get on it. Dorian is only 13 years young. He's pretty tall. He's going to do the basics. He's still nervous, but he's going to do just fine because he's following the principles of what I'm showing you guys. It's not hard. All right? You'll see him in a second. Let's go. All right. So here we go. So we got Dorian. Dorian is coming in on a bike. He's going to get on there. I had him put his helmet on. I just want him to practice safety. This is his first time putting on the helmet. He looks pretty good on that bike. I'm not going to walk him through anything. I'm going to see what he remembers. Because what happens is when you're starting to ride your bike, you start to depend on everybody to tell you a bunch of stuff. But I want to let him be the one to figure it out. Let's go, buddy. Remember, he's only 13. This is what, your third time, right? No, your fourth time now, right? All right. Let's see what you got, my brother. Let's see how much your pop skills is paying off. Yeah, you figure it out. It will come natural to you. All right, so he's putting it in first gear. He's looking ahead. He's doing the duck walk like we spoke about. He got both his feet up, and he looks very controlled. He's nervous. He hit the throttle, but he did it the first time, which is fine because he understands how to control the throttle. He's not panicking. He's looking solid. He's looking strong. And notice he's just controlling just the clutch, guys. Nothing showing off. Just practice, 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 practice. The more you practice, the better you get. He's looking great. He's looking confident. His next step is going to be that throttle control. That's the part that he didn't touch yet. So he's learning just the clutch, just the turns, how to stop his bike. I want him to turn the other direction now too. He's looking good. All right. He used the front brake to stop. Well done, man. He got the kickstand down. Beautiful. How do you feel? How do you feel on that?
Around the 10 right there, I felt a little nervous, but I felt like it did better after when I got around here because I got too close to
Yeah,
the
and I heard you hit the throttle when you was nervous, but it's okay. You kept the control. You didn't lose control. So now you did a whole lot of left turns. I want you to practice the same thing going to your right.
okay.
All right. Have fun. Remember, no throttle. Just keep yourself going. Don't let nervousness take you out. That's one of the biggest things that gets people to lose control is nervousness on their motorcycles. Right. All right. Let's go. Remember, the motorcycle only goes where you want it to go. If you want the motorcycle to go in a tree, that's where it's going to go. If you want the motorcycle to go straight, that's where it's going to go. You are the one that control the motorcycle at all times. You got me? All right. Let's go. See how he's releasing the clutch? That's what I want y'all to do. Just let the clutch. That was a nice one too. He's not nervous with the clutching anymore. Excuse this little dirt in the lens. This lens got some dirt on it. It's not even on the. Hold on a second. It's not even on the. Yeah, it's the inside. It's all right. You guys can still see us. That's the key. All right. Good. Very good, Dorian. So Dorian is doing good. He's just like his dad. He learns very quickly. Get used to using your back brake as well. Yep, get used to using the back brake as well. I'm going to test him now. I think he's ready for a little bit of gas. You're looking good. Now, keep on going. Go straight. Give it a little bit of gas now, and then take a little bit of gas to go faster. Little bit of gas. Little bit of gas. And stop. Stop. There you go. Good. He's doing good, guys. I'm giving y'all real time. This is my son, all right? Yep. Stop. Good job. Kickstands. Turn it off. My man, give me that love right there, boy. Give me that love. Hey, the last time they saw you riding to Milwaukee with me in the back, now they see you riding your own bike, huh? Because I know pretty much this bike is going to be yours, huh? I know, I know. All right, now that's what I'm talking about. This is how we learn things. You learn things from application. Some people learn from listening, some people learn from doing, some people learn from seeing. I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you the visual, the audio, and the action. Dorian is doing really, really, really good. In a matter of, I'll give him a few more days, he's going to understand the throttle. He's going to understand how to get that throttle fully loaded and how to move that bike at the speed he wants to let the bike move. Now, when you start going into the throttle, that's when things get a little bit more complicated because now you have to really understand how to slow it down. If you want to turn into a parking lot, you have to understand parking lot is a little tighter. Like this one has the two sidewalks. So now you have a smaller variable to work your way through. Okay. You have to learn the control of your clutch, compression zone, how to stop, how to really use judgment. But the basics that we're going over today is all about getting you to ride your motorcycle. All right. So leave it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Here we go. I'm gonna pull this thing off. and I'm gonna make a little U-turn and show you what I mean. Leave the comments. Let's get these miles. Let's get this money. Let's get this muscle. I look both ways to make sure no cars ain't coming. And I'm going back in. Full throttle. Rear brake. No matter how fast you're going, the brakes will stop you, okay? No matter how fast I'm going, I use that front brake, that rear brake. That's what slows me down, all right? And here's another thing. When you get ready to take off, always take off in first gear. Can I take off in second gear? Yeah, I can. It's gonna require a lot more gas, and you're not gonna be able to do that in second gear. You see what happened? The bike shuts off. The second gear is just not right for that. So you gotta go in first gear to practice in first gear, take off in first gear. So here it is, boom, first gear, look to my left, look to my right. I'm using my rear brake to control the bike. The bike is already doing what it's gotta do. My right hand is on here, I'm controlling the bike, and then I give my gas, release the clutch, all right? All right, so here we are, guys. We got this. Riding a motorcycle is fun. It's dangerous, but it's fun. And the more you learn, the better you get. Dorian, how do you feel about this whole thing?
I feel good because when I do the turns, I'm able to feel like I'm able to handle it, and not the bike is like turning and throwing me off. Because I thought when I started riding that I would feel scared doing the turns, but I feel better now that I know that I'm able to do it and I'm able to handle the turns.
Yeah, that's good, because the turns is where a lot of people panic. So they'll tend to run. They prefer to let the bike go straight because straight is easy. It's kind of like people who ride their motorcycles for years. Going fast and straight is easy. But when it comes to going slower and turning, that's more complicated for a lot of people. Now, when you first started riding the bike to now, when you're just starting to do more, how much nervousness did you feel on day one?
Day one, I felt 100% nervousness. I don't feel a bunch of nervousness now. I would say 5 out of 100%, and that's just on that one turn right there. All the other turns I felt good on. Turning right was easier for me because my right hand's not going up. So I feel like it's just better when I do right turns instead of left turns.
Yeah, exactly. The right turns is way different than the left turns. It's weird. Some people are really good at the left turn. Some people are good at the right turns. When you make the right turn, though, the handlebar for my bike tend to go up further away from me on Beast, and I got to reach out further.
Yes.
Where the left turn might feel a little easier. It's weird. So what would you say is the next thing you want to learn on riding a motorcycle?
Well, like you said, the throttle to put gas into the bike.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, I don't want to be able to do it here because it seems like I would go too fast and I would hit something. So I would like say like our driveway or down that road because it feels more open to me. So I can stop if I have, just in case.
Well, if you look at the distance of this and that, this is longer than our driveway.
Yeah, I mean like down the road.
So, but here's the deal. The thing about the throttle control is this. Like I said to you guys, when you roll the throttle, the bike is not going to take off as fast as you want to take it off. It's not going to go faster than you make it. You have to be confident enough to know where your brakes are. And you have to know that you're not going to use a whole lot of throttle right away. And let's say the bike takes off a little faster. You have more than enough room to stop the bike as long as you don't panic. Most people panic and they crash their bikes. I can't tell you how many videos I see on YouTube and Instagram where people are taking off and nobody gives them real instructions and they get on the bike thinking that they're good to go and they crash. That's not going to happen to you, man. So the next time we do the next video, we're going to now go over the throttle stuff, and you're going to learn about the throttle. The bike will not fall unless you decide to make it fall.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we out of here, guys. Let's get these miles, let's get this money, let's get this muscle. Leave the comments, share these videos with everybody you know because we want to get this channel up to 10,000 subscribers now. We're almost there. We're at 9,000 and change. But now we need to get to 10,000 and then work our way up. All right? This is Sensei. And you are?
Little Sensei.
All right, we out of here. Peace. Get out of here, sucker. You a punk.